Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another Mixed Media Mayhem recipe for you guys today. I am also playing along with Scraptember 2023, and today's prompts, the recipe for Mixed Media Mayhem today is stencils, which I am using this one here that was gifted to me, and I'm looking for the Crafters Workshop lettering, numbering, but I don't know if this is actually from the Crafters Workshop, so I apologize. I know Janet knows where that's from, but I do not. The next one up is stamping. So I'm going to be using this Kaiser Craft stamp, and it is called Marble. And here in a minute, I think I find the number. There it is. So it's CS293 if you guys want to find it. And I'm going to be using the Distress Ink in Frayed Burlap. And last but not least is Nuvo. So I picked Nuvo drops, and I picked a crystal drop. I also picked this Velvet Sage. They're both crystal drops. And then the other one is Ivory Seashell. Now, I apologize, but they are both very muted. That's the thing about crystal drops is they are practically see-through. And so my mixed media doesn't really show up. Now, I showed you guys that Ancient Spray by Dina Wakley, and I don't end up using it. This here is the Delicate Florals from Some Assemblage Required. So I will be using those on my layout for today as well. I have two photos that I'm going to be scrap lifting today. It is of a workshop that I took in Pinners 2021. I also have this day 20 from March of 2023's Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. And I have a little note here that I'm going to make it a mini album, and then I'm also going to turn it. But my two little floral pieces that are indicated in the sketch are actually going to be crisscross from each other instead of up and down, so that way I can go with this piece of paper right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and use what's on my paper. Now these are from the Elena collection from 49 and Market. I've got a scrap here, I don't remember what that's from, but everything else is pretty much all Elena. I have a few little bits and pieces left over from the ephemera set, or I think these are the laser cut pieces, by the way. So here's my piece of paper. It's called Art Options. I don't remember, you guys. But the Elena collection. And then I fussy cut out these flowers from my Shimmers paper kit from March of this year. So I have those in addition to all of these little pieces. And yeah, I think they are laser cut. And I'm going to try to finish up all of these because this is all that I have left. And then that scrap piece of gray was from a cut file that was from the Not Just for Boys Kit Club. So I'm going to use the gray piece of paper. All scraps pretty much. So I'm going to take this piece of paper here and I'm going to shrink it down to 8.5 by 11. So I need to just trim off ever so slightly, but I want to put the pieces back together so they make an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just overlap the two pieces. And then that seam is going to be kind of seamless once I get all my pieces put on. So I'm going to map my photos in this gray, and I just need to trim them down so that way they are the right size for the gray. One of the things about these classes is, even though, especially this one here, I've taken a couple watercolor classes in my Pinners conferences, and these ones here, these are sisters. And they actually teach you that every stroke is meaningful. And that's basically the idea of their class is, you paint what you feel, you paint what you are in the mood to paint and things like that. And so they give you that little tray full of watercolor blobs. And then they talk about, if you paint a rainbow, what is your feelings, and how, what mood do you have to be in to paint the rainbow? And then, of course, they also give you a couple techniques that are pretty cool when painting the rainbow. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then, of course, the ombre that you have going from blue to red, they teach you a couple techniques doing that as well. And then, of course, bring in your painting with meaning type of stuff. So I just thought it was a cool little class to take, and then I've learned a couple new techniques. Can I remember them from 2021? Probably not, and I apologize, ladies, but the class itself was fun, and every time I take a class in Pinners, I try to take a picture of the instructors and the project that I made, and then, of course, document it every year, because they aren't ever the same. Like, I have taken a class by the same instructor, so I've taken, year after year, my classes by my favorite instructors, but what they teach is never the same. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, so what I did was I am enhancing my floral pieces here, and so I took my stamp and I went ahead and stamped beyond the floral pieces, and then I mixed my 2 Nuvo drops in hopes that I would get that green that is in the watercolor floral images, but the white really took over, and I have to twist it and turn it and show it in the light in order for it to come out. But it is very pretty, and that's all the mixed media that I planned on doing on this layout. In all honesty, was just enhancing what I already had. I know that's a cop-out, you guys. I apologize, but that's the way it's going to go. And then I started putting my photo cluster together while my background was drying and forgot to turn the camera on. So I just took those 3 frames or windows or frames. I took those 3 frames and I basically clustered them around my photo, knowing that they were going to be the center of my attention on my layout. So now that I've got that figured out, I decided to go ahead and start building the rest of my cluster on the layout, because I figured if I did it off the layout, it was going to be a little bit too difficult to try to transfer over, especially when I've got those delicate florals tucked underneath the photos. So I went ahead and I brought it. And what I'm going to do with all the rest of my elements is just enhance my little floral clusters that I have going on. Just by using all of the pieces. I thought that these flowers by Shimmers, the paper that they started to sell in the Shimmers website, I thought that it was a good match, especially the colors. So I'm going to tuck a few of them in there. Now, I don't use all 3 clusters because, once you start working with a smaller layout, it does end up getting full fast. I don't want to say cluttered, because I don't feel like I cluttered my layout, but it does end up getting full really fast. I only had one of these little red flowers, and I decided to put it up here on the left because of the fact that the painted floral piece over on the right was big and red. So I thought, oh, well, that's a good contrast, having the red on one side and the red on the other, one in the back, one in the front. I really liked that. And then I've got just a leftover border punch piece out of white. I decided to tuck that behind, but I still wanted my red border from that frame to be showing. Now, I did cover up most of these frames. I wanted to leave the one up at the top because it is going to be more like my journaling spot. But I covered up most of the punched piece because of the fact that, I just really wanted it to be peeking out. And I have a lacy bit piece from the Elena collection that, again, I wanted it to be just tucked in and barely seen as well. Now, these little stamps, they say lovely and happy and something else I can't remember. But I thought that they went really well with the lesson that we were learning in this Pinners class. So I went ahead and popped those on. I did take one of my photos and popped it up on foam. I do need to go and get more foam. This is my last. Well, I have one more piece, but I lost it temporarily. Don't ask. And then I end up finding it, and later on, you guys will see that I truly lost it, and you'll see what I use until I can get some more. Yeah. So these delicate florals are truly delicate, you guys. I am ripping them apart as I am taking the backing off, and I'm okay with that because they will just glue right back together on my page. So I am okay with that. Plus, where they're breaking, I'm going to be covering them up with these stamps and florals and all that stuff. And then a couple of them, I purposefully actually ripped them apart so that way I could use little bits instead of having so much tucked underneath the florals. And then I really wanted to tuck in the leaves, and I almost forgot to do that. So these are afterthoughts, and then I end up covering up all that red frame that I wanted over on the right. Anyways, you barely can see it behind the wooden leaf, but I'm okay with that. By the end of this, I really liked how I was able to get the floral pieces to come and pop out off of the background of the page and flow onto my photos. So I really do like how all of it ended up flowing really well. I'm using the word everything to be my title, and then I have choose happy and everything is okay. The reason why I chose everything is because part of the lesson was that everything that you do has meaning. You either do it in anger, you do it in happiness, you do it in love or out of love. Everything has a meaning, whether you realize it or not. And I thought that was a pretty cool lesson, because sometimes I need to be reminded of that. Sometimes I just feel like I do things because I have to. But no, I do things because, it brings me joy, or it, makes my family happy, or it helps somebody else out. I do, everything has a meaning, even though it doesn't seem like it does. Everything does to somebody, or somebody's, right? So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take these last little butterflies. I do end up leaving a couple leaves and one floral cluster left, so maybe that'll show up in another layout. Who knows? But I decided not to use my my Dina Wakley in Ancient. I was going to splatter, and then I thought no, because I already can't see my mixed media, so I'm going to go ahead and leave what little mixed media I can see showing, and then I'm going to add my Nuvo drops to the centers of these flowers just to try to lighten them up, because I felt like they were super dark for what my layout was. I really liked the fact that I have a watercolor background and I'm documenting watercoloring. So it just kind of makes sense to me. Oh, always is what that stamp said. So that is my layout for today, using my leftover little bits and pieces from the Elena collection. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate it. Please be sure to check out the links down below. I've got 2 mixed media links for you guys. Both of them are for the Facebook group, and both of them get you to the same exact spot. But one is for the group as a whole, and the other one is just for the album for today's recipes, if you want to go and see how everybody else is using their products. 2 layouts are going to be the same, which I think is amazing. But you get all these different ideas and stuff on how to use your products. And then, of course, the next link is for the Scraptember 2023 playlist, because that is where all of us YouTubers are posting all of our layouts, so you can watch those that are playing every single day. I myself are only playing on Fridays because September is usually my down month. I usually use this month to catch up in the shop and do basically self-preservance for myself, because it's usually a busy month, and then of course August is usually my busiest month. So I take September off, but I did still want to produce a couple videos for you guys. And then of course the last link that I have is the Scraptember Facebook group, so you can go and check out all of the prompts for the month, the album, where those that aren't playing on Facebook are posting their prompt go-tos in the album. So anyways, that is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so very much, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.